Hello, welcome to today's Whalebone webinar. I'm Gordon Daniel, Product Marketing Manager here at Whalebone. And this afternoon, we're going to be discussing selling security, how to treat, how to maximize your
advantages by bringing cybersecurity to your telco subscribers. We're going to be, for those of you who are not aware of Whalebone already, we make a telco cybersecurity product that telcos can provide to end users and that can be deployed with one click and protect all of the devices in the user's profile. So we're going to start off with a discussion of why security matters. For those of you who haven't yet offered your customers a security product, either as a VAS or potentially even a core service, why you want to think about doing that. We'll discuss communicating security to your customers, how to make it accessible and understandable. We'll discuss some channel best practices you might want to use to present the security opportunity to them. We'll talk about some opportunities and some options that you might want to use with channels, and then we'll finish up with some tips and tricks, and finally a QA at the end. So let's start off with security. If you haven't done it, as I started to say, it's absolutely worth your time to deploy this as a VAS product within your network. First of all, even if I didn't work in security, I would definitely say this. There's absolutely a market need for this. We're showing at the moment stats from the APAC region, but any part of the world is going to show very similar results. Users are absolutely concerned about staying safe online, and those who see the news know and may have even experienced themselves personal data loss, financial loss, not just as a business, but as an end user who may have accidentally fallen victim to scam sites or clicked a malicious link. And the vast majority of your users are using their mobile devices throughout the day to access the internet, which can leave them, if they are unprotected, vulnerable to attacks. Now, of course, we're all running businesses here, so we want to make sure that we do tackle the business advantage of security. As you know, and I know, and many people know, there's not a lot of flexibility left in core telco pricing. However, security is a great way to add an additional revenue line of business to your to your telco subscribers. We see with our customers between a 3 and 5% bump to ARPU, but customers, as we'll see in a little bit later slides, they're willing to pay globally between 1 and 3 euros in recurring monthly revenue, and the vast majority would actually be willing to pay more than that, up to 5 euros for a broad-based, easily adoptable single-click security option that protects all the devices, includes not just security against one type of attack, but broader security with things like parental control, ID protection, etc., etc. So there is definitely a business case as well to the customer need case to adding security as an additional line of business. And of course, happy customers, security brings happy customers, and happy customers are sticky customers. Telcos that have deployed security report that their customers are showing 14 point on average bump in net promoter score. And we also have discovered from our customers and also some partners of ours that they tend to churn at a 50% lower rate, which means not only are you taking advantage of revenue on the front end, but you're also spending less in customer acquisition costs on the back end by offering a security product to your customers. Now, a little bit about, we've sort of made a case, or what I think is a starter case for security. Let's move into sort of how to communicate security to your customers and relevant stakeholders here. And the thing, that I really want to say is that security needs to be made understandable. It's a very abstract concept. I'll be the first to admit that. It happens sometimes behind the scenes. A security product works and people don't see it. Is it there? Is it working? Am I protected? Who knows? And you may find, even speaking with your technical teams, they may be very technically skilled, but they may even not understand security. So communication is absolutely the key to selling any sort of security product where people don't understand it, making the abstract into something concrete. And the first part of that communications process is actually your internal stakeholders. Make absolutely sure that you take the time to same page all of your internal audiences, as well at the same time, or ideally before the time, that you educate your external market about security. So the best performing telco partners that we have are actually taking the time to produce content which is specific for each of the key sort of stakeholder groups that they're going to be communicating with. So marketing has a very specific set of marketing description, marketing language about security that they can use not only to educate themselves, but also to educate the market. The same with the sales team. The security product is presented to them in a way that they, in the sales team, will understand using terms that they might be more familiar with than on the marketing side. Of course, internal objections may exist, right? Somebody may have had a problem with other secure earlier on in their life. Their experience, in a lot of times, is not similar to the real, the real common normal end user. And you can, it's a nice opportunity to overcome that objection by simply saying, hey, you're probably a little bit more educated and advanced than the end user, than the real end user in the market here. So there are ways definitely to overcome even internal objections through effective communication and education. We actually even do that ourselves here at Whalebone. We're making a cybersecurity product. It's based on the network. It uses particular protocols to filter out dangerous web addresses, and that's not necessarily something that everybody understands. So we have a couple of tools here in the office that we use to educate the teams. One is what we call threats popularization, which is about a 12 to 15 minute presentation that I and a colleague of mine in the security team do every third week. We present on threats, we present on Whalebone, how Whalebone helps protect against those threats, and we identify key issues that our constituencies here will want to know about. And when I say key issues, what I'm talking about are how Whalebone performs, how it does the things, what the threats, for example, are, and we do it in that 15-minute period so that we know, and we do it not just for security, not just for development, not just for sales and marketing, but we also present it to everybody, including, for example, legal, office managers, everybody who needs to understand, so that they're all on the same page about what we do here at Whalebone, and they can all work together for our common goal. We also produce, for the benefit of our telco partners, what we call the Product Manager Guide, which is a frequently updated, I believe the length is now upwards of 150 pages, document, which in multiple chapters, which provides every piece of guidance you would really ever need to bring your telco product to market, to answer what types of threats are there, what does Whalebone security do, how does it work, all of these things. And we provide that to all of our customers for free. It's not available publicly, unfortunately, only to our customers. But we do that as an educational and awareness tool to communicate security in a understandable way so that our partners can have a more effective time going to market. Now, when I say communication, of course, I suspect that a lot of you were thinking about external communication. How do you educate the market on what security is and how it can benefit your customers? Just one side note, we will hold questions to the end if you don't mind, just to make sure that everybody, that we get through the presentation. I do want to cover a couple of points here before we break it up with the questions. But external communication, key points: start early and do it often. The best performing telcos are using all of the channels that they have available to them, and they're really taking the time even to do a full, quarter's worth of awareness campaign after launch to educate the market on what security is, how the security product that the telco is offering benefits the market, and to really take advantage of that awareness educational opportunity to communicate what security is and how it helps. Just trying to change slides here. When we talk about security, one of the things we want to make sure is that we use our available touch points to bring security from abstract, as I said in the beginning, to reality. Now, at Whalebone, we have 16 different touch points, 16 different places that you can use to show your customer the value, the reality of the security that you are offering them. Again, it's white labeled, so it's going to be your telco branding. But you can see in the larger image, this is the user portal that shows at the top how many threats were and of what type were detected. We also have the opportunity to do that via redirection pages, which I will get to in a couple slides. You can set SMS and email alerts. There's reporting. And the thing to remember here is that, and I know that some telcos may have an incumbent solution, some telcos may be narrowing down their options to one or two. As you do that, really be sure to query those vendors as to how quickly and with what facility they can actually make those touch points integrated. Because as anybody who's brought a product to market knows, a technical product at least, there are challenges, there can be challenges with integration. Whalebone does it via API. It takes no more than 7 weeks to do the whole process. So our API is plug and play, but you should be careful to be aware that in some cases you may be spending or waiting rather 6, 9, 12, even 18 months before those integrations happen and before those touch points are available, which means you're wasting 6, 9, 12, 18 months before you can really fully monetize the security product that you're offering. So be mindful of that just as a practice tip. As you get ready to select a vendor or bring security to your market. Key points to remember with communication. 1, keep it short. Absolutely apply the 15-second rule. Customers are not looking for ways to stay, they're looking for ways to stay secure, but they also don't have time or maybe the technical background to do the exploration, to look for a particular type of technology. If you can't explain it in 15 seconds, you maybe need to pare your message down, to the shorter and more salient points that you want to discuss. Second thing is demonstrate value. Use the communications, as I said, I showed you in the previous slide, to make the abstract concrete, show them exactly how they're benefiting from the product in a minute by minute, daily basis. That they've signed up to. Now, when we talk about communication, we talked about sort of how to say things. Let's take a look at now what to say and more importantly, where to say it. When you think about bringing a security product to market, think about it less as security, but think about it more as giving it the resources that you would give any tariff or data plan, any of your core products that you're going to bring to market. For example, digital channels. You might see up to 10% adoption using only digital channels. Bundles, which will give you, bundling security and other services can give you up to 40% of adoption. when you start to bring in your full spectrum of channels available to you, point of sale, call center, telesales, as well as the bundles, as well as the digital channels, you can start to really boost that adoption higher than 50%, up to 70% in some cases. And even in a couple of examples, a couple of markets, it's possible even to embed security in the core telco offering. So it's part of a data package, and that really can drive adoption absolutely right through the roof. There are some notes to make on that, and I'll make that in a couple of slides. But again, give security the support it deserves. If you love it, it will love you back on the revenue side. So the second thing to remember about communicating security in your channels is never miss an opportunity to explain to the customer how they're protected, right? For example, give the security product to your shop assistants. They have a great face-to-face interaction with your customer. They can speak from experience about how they are protected. They can even show their own device to show how they're protected to the customer. Every touch point, as I said, is an opportunity to demonstrate value, and as I'll get to in one or two slides, even an opportunity to monetize. Use email, use video. Shop assistants are a great example, but YouTube, social media, again, some examples are coming there. Earned and owned media. You can even send monthly SMSs to all of your network, not just your subscribers, but all of your network, to again show everybody the value. For example, Telecom Secure this month has blocked so many million threats to the network, and as we'll get to in one or two slides, sign up here, right? The second thing to mention with never missing an opportunity is upsell, upsell, upsell. Don't miss the opportunity to monetize the touch points that you have made available to your customer. Even blocking pages, even redirection pages can be used as an opportunity to upsell the customer. Here's an example of that actually, and we at Whalebone are a little bit unique in that we not only have blocking of malicious, dangerous sites and links, but we also have the ability to redirect, to allow the user to bypass that page to go to the site that they think is malicious, even though we recommend they don't. So in this flow example, the customer is on a trial, right? They click a site or an ad that they believe to be, or that we've identified as dangerous. Now there's two options here on this redirection page. We can give them the link to register with one click, in which case they can move through the process. They get the receipt in their email, and they've added the service to their billing profile. Or if they decide that they want to go further and use that use that bypass option to visit the dangerous page, we can then add them into a CRM queue where we can send them subsequent emails to get them to convert later and add the product to their package of services. So again, never miss an opportunity to monetize within the customer journey when you're selling security, especially from a technical standpoint. Second of all, and this is actually another interesting example, you can use offline communication as a way to upsell as well. For example, you're in a point of sale in a shop, in a kiosk. Somebody wants to come in. They want to add a service. They want to pay a bill. They want to, which is popular in some places. The sales staff engages with them. They know from experience, they know from education that you've done internally. They're able to sell the security product successfully. They give that 15-second pitch. The customer is unwilling, so then they can be added when the customer record is updated. You can simply click a box and say, okay, rejected security. they are now added to the queue where they can again receive those nurturing messages to convert later. And of course, if they do convert at this time, maybe they pay, maybe they just sign up directly, or they add they start a trial. That's, they can then be moved through. They can get their receipt and go through the process. Again, offline, online, even blocking pages you can use to upsell and generate additional revenue from security following your communications. Now, let's get into some channels where you might want to monetize security. Some options you might want to include. So first of all, a little recap of how our customers are selling our Aura network security telco product. We have, as you see from the box on the left there are a lot of channels in play that our customers are using. Point of sale, customer service, that's inbound, telesales, which is outbound. They're selling as part of a My Telco app. For example, a lot of telcos are offering an app which they use for administration, for customer service. That's a place you can use to offer, to register the subscriber for your telco security product. When it comes to pricing, the vast majority of customers are using that opt-in model where the customer takes the active step to add the service to their profile. There are a couple of other options that I'm going to get to in some later slides. And the other thing to mention is that, sort of in keeping with that short 15-second decision message, the majority of our customers are pricing this between 5 and 10% of ARPU. So if you know that figure already, you can kind of calculate it in your mind what this would cost your customers in your market. But again, as you see, that's a very palatable price, which not only can you deliver the message in 15 seconds, but you can have that decision from the customer. It's an easy decision that they can make, not only because they clearly understand the advantage of the product, but because the pricing is simple enough. We say occasionally cheaper than a cup of coffee, that they can make a decision on it and adopt it easily. When it comes to channel performance, this is sort of an amalgamation of all of our customers according to what channels work best for them. As you can see at this point, point of sale, personal voice contact, customer service, telesales, et cetera, are really leading the pack. People are able to see, hey, the service rep I'm talking to is actually using this product as well. It's a great way. These are great options to really lead with security, to take advantage of that connection that you're going to have with your subscriber base to drive adoption. When it comes to bundling, which is something I mentioned as well, nearly half of our customers are offering some form of bundle with their security package. As I mentioned, for those of you who did join the first webinar that we held about 5G, there are actually a large and increasing number of our telco partners who are bundling security with the 5G package. 5G speed and security really go well hand in hand. If you want a summary of why that is, you can look on our YouTube page and find the original webinar. But a great example of that bundling is A1 Bulgaria, who offers their 5G ultra speed package bundled with A1 Net Protect security. O2 Czech Republic is also doing this. O2 Security is now part of their 5G package. But when it comes to other bundling options you might want to take a look at, family plans are a great place to add security. Everybody wants to make sure that their family is safe. And with Whalebone specifically, with that one-click activation, all the plan owner or head of household or whoever it is that manages the plan for the family can simply do the click, add the security to every device within that plan. And of course, in some cases, maybe there's a rate plan, interesting bundle you want to offer. So instead of having a free trial period, right, you have a reduced trial period. As you've seen from the original slide, this previous slide rather, where you have a 50 euro cent price. If you now subtract that, half of that, you have a really, really palatable trial price of 25 euro cents, and you're still making a little bit, bringing in a little bit of revenue to cover some costs while the customer experiences the value of what you're offering them. I said that I would, and I'm going to offer a little bit of content about the hard bundle or the opt-out plan. This is something where what's happening is you're essentially taking security and treating it as part of a core telco service package as opposed to a vast service package. I'm not saying you move it over to the core telco division. I'm just saying you're treating it that way, bundling it within the core telco data plan offering, so data always equals security as well. It's not necessarily available in every market. Some countries require certain types of billing or certain billing practices. Other countries allow it. But what you're doing is essentially being very clear in your communications up front and saying, we are now adding a security package. It's going to cost you whatever, 50 euro cents, 1 euro, something like that, 5 to 10% of your ARPU for the customer. And we're going to take all of our channels, all our touch points. I said, again, this is the advantage of having multiple touch points quickly available. And you're adding that to the subscribers package, and then giving them the chance to opt out later. And even though they actually do have the chance to opt out, in our experience, very, very, very few customers do actually opt out when you offer this hard bundle. I'd like to finish up now as we get closer to the end of the half hour with some tips and tricks you might want to think about as you get ready to to bring security or to offer security to your customers. Excuse me. The first one actually is to not overlook the technical paths to increase adoption. So Whalebone, as I've said a couple of times, offers single-click activation, which means that you can use all of the channels that you have available to you to allow for a single-click conversion. That means you have and these examples here that I'm showing are actually taken from our product manager guide, but you have an SMS where you literally need just to reply yes, and you sign up all your connected devices to that plan. You can click it as part of an email promotion, right? Click that red button, start your 30-day trial. Or you can even do it in an online sign up where you sign up for the service at the beginning. That way all the devices are connected. Again, one click makes it very easy to adopt, which is a technical solution, a technical path to adoption that you absolutely do not want to overlook if it's available to you. Secondly, and this is actually a call out to one of our customers, A1 Serbia. Social media can really be a great way to educate the market. And the very nice thing that A1 Serbia has done is they've provided a number of segmented social media promotions based on the audience age in this case. So they're education focused. They run for about a quarter after the launch of the product. They use TikTok for the younger audience. This is the image that I'm showing here. I would like to play the video, but for the purposes of time, I'm not going to.
What we have here is a local Serbian influencer. We've got a very short TikTok video where he's discussing in this particular one what is phishing and how the customer can protect against it, and how A1 Net Protect in Serbia can help protect the customer, help protect that user against phishing. But again, it's TikTok, influencer based for a younger audience. They have a Facebook campaign as well. As surprised as I am always to say it, no matter how many times I practice it, Facebook is now for the older audience. So they've got No, they're not using influencers there, but they're using still using video content to explain in an easily understandable and accessible way what threats are and how A1 Net Protect defends against those threats for the end user who adopts the product. And they're seeing very high adoption overall, including as part of this campaign. Now, the reason I've shown this and not some other campaigns that are being run by other telcos who are offering security, the thing I like here is that it's more forward-looking, it's more engagement-based, it forms trust with the customer, rather than the other model, which is to have a number of influencers who, as a pack, in a time similar fashion, talk about how they've been hacked and they've lost personal data or something like that. And then after a certain period, maybe 5 days, it's revealed that this is a campaign of telco X. I think this actually gives a little bit more of creates a little bit more trust with the telco and the customer. But depending on your market, you may want to go a different way, the other way, or a third way that I haven't described here. But again, do take a look at A1 Serbia social media about A1 Net Protect. Very interesting, very illustrative, a great example of how to use that to promote, educate the market, again, on security. The second thing, third thing rather, actually, that I would want to call out is sort of an interesting pricing model. I'll call it the most secure example, where we have a customer who's entering the market, and they're going to bake in, there's very low to no security penetration across the market. They're going to be the first ones to offer this security product. So what they're doing is they're actually treating it as a loss leader for existing customers. They're going to give it to them for free, and now they create it and add subscriptions as part of it, because they've clearly differentiated themselves and identified a clear value proposition of them based as against other competitors in the market. So they are the most secure mobile connection in country standard. But this is another example you might want to think about to grab market share and grab market awareness in a country or a market that's not familiar yet with mobile security. And the final one is actually about motivating point of sale teams. You know, these folks work hard. We know they sell hard for you in the field. First of all, how to get them to sell security better. As I started to say, and I said it in a couple of places today, make sure they're educated, make sure they understand, preferably from personal experience, how the product works, how it keeps them safe. But the second thing you might want to think about, they're very likely selling multiple products at the same time. Maybe screen protection insurance, maybe there's a gaming bundle or a music bundle. How do you make it worth their while to sell security products as opposed to something else that they might have access to? In this example, they're already familiar with the product. They already know what it does. They can give that 15-second pitch. But a great way to push it forward is through content. Two ways that are beneficial. One, contests is a great example. For example, the person that sells the most telco secure units wins a prize, maybe a gift card, and definitely intra-company recognition. Everybody loves to have recognition at a contest as to who's the most effective salesperson at point of sale or customer service, telesales is a great way to do that. And we've seen customers now that are deploying that method. They've got great penetration from those channels as a result of this particular process. The second one is the financial incentive example, where, and of course, how much of a percentage is going to depend on your own internal business case, but where a certain percentage of the sale price of the telco secure product goes back to the agent themselves. And in some cases, some customers, or some partners of ours, have seen their agents able to double their monthly salary by being very, very effective salespeople for the security product in the market. these are very interesting. These are definitely options that you should think about as a way to motivate or sort of bring forward the security product in front in the mind of
point of sale agent to really drive adoption. With that, I'd like to offer you a couple of takeaways for the end of the presentation, and then we'll move to the Q&A portion. So the first, there are really two major ones, and the first ones are around communication, right? Absolutely keep it simple. Make whatever you're going to do something that fits in the 15-second rule. Take the time to demonstrate the value of the security product that you're offering to the customer. And absolutely do not forget your internal audiences, because they're going to be the people who are creating the campaigns, who are selling in the field. The better they know the product, the better they're able to sell it and promote it. And I really can't say enough. Don't hesitate to use your customer touch points. Obviously, you want to make sure that you have those readily available to you when you go to market. And I would really ask you to think about whether or not, if you're going to run the campaign, bring the product forward without those touch points, does it make sense? And then if you're going to wait to release the product, to take the product to market for that 6, 9, 12, even 18 months, what sense does it make to adopt the product if you can't use all of its features to monetize and to show value early? And second of all, and the final point for communication is to make sure to customize the content for your channel or the audience that you're approaching. Again, TikTok versus Facebook, keep that in mind. When it comes to the revenue side, don't hesitate to think about security like a core telco product rather than as a special security product. Don't be afraid. Give it the same resources that you would give a normal tariff or rate plan or data plan. It'll love you back in the end with revenue. Optimize the customer journey for upsell. Make sure every opportunity you get to do that single click, ideally registration, to put somebody in a queue to receive communications later about the product. Don't hesitate to take advantage of that. It's another great way to drive adoption. Don't forget about bundling. Don't forget about technical options that might exist. Again, single click is the best, probably the easiest example, but I've showed some flows about how you can move people through to monetize, and then also don't overlook options to innovate and to motivate your teams to sell heavily in the field. With that, I thank you for your time. I'm happy to have presented this. You see on the screen my email if you need to reach out to me directly. I'd like to open this now to a couple of questions. I see there's one here about with the tips and tricks. When will the telco customer or partner rather be able to start generating revenue? How quickly? That really depends to some extent on the internal business case that you have. And the individual price that you're selling the telco product at versus your individual costs. When you start generating revenue, I'm thinking that in terms of revenue positivity. Obviously, your first customer is revenue. The question is how quickly and how soon are you going to break even? How quickly are you going to turn a profit? That's really going to depend on the tools you use and your internal business case. However, you can generate revenue quickly through these mass adoption or these quick adoption techniques that I've described. I think that's a great way to go about it. With the 7 touch points that I've mentioned, is it time to market or telco integration of our solution? That's for those who may not remember. I mentioned this in terms of the customer touch points. So this is actually both. Whalebone is quite unique in terms of time to market, so you can get to market very, very quickly. The API process, the integration process is part of that, and the whole package is done in as little as 7 weeks. Can I increase? Yes. How do you increase service activation from the target market? I would definitely refer you back to, well, the majority of the subjects in the presentation. In other words, take advantage of technical options to increase activation. Single click activation is a fantastic way to do that. Traditionally, one of the problems with the spectrum of security products is that they require the end user to download an app to deploy a particular product across all of their individual devices, which can be sometimes challenging from a user experience standpoint. So definitely that way. As I said, also make sure to optimize all of your channels for conversion. So even as I showed, blocking or redirection pages that identify a dangerous website, you can even use those to click and show an increased service activation from the market as well. So those are two great examples, but certainly we'll make this whole webinar available to you in a couple of days from today, and so you can take another look at it as you want to see more information or catch up on what I may have mentioned. I'm seeing a couple compliments, which I appreciate, but happy to discuss security at any time. Are there any other questions that I can answer? Certainly happy to go into detail. It looks like we do have somebody asking more questions, so I'm going to sit tight until that happens. So what is the highest penetration we've achieved? There's actually two answers to that. One is in terms of opt-in. That's where the customer makes a affirmative step to add the product to their portfolio, to
their customer profile. With that, actually, it's I think 68 or 69%. If you want to see more about that, you can actually visit whalebone.io, click through to Aura, which is the card we've been talking about today, and you can see the O2 Czech Republic case study. It's actually one of two customers of ours who told us that this is the best performing VAS product that they have ever offered. But 68, 70% is the highest there. And then for customers that are running the opt-out hard bundle option that I described, I can't give you the specific number because that customer hasn't made that publicly available yet. It's definitely above 80% with that market. So it's really two numbers: one the opt-in and one the opt-out. Looks like there's one other question here is coming. I think it was about yes. Okay, so yes, this is a question. Can I share with us the recording and the slides? Absolutely. That should be available to you in the next couple of days. Worst case, Monday. We'll make this whole email recording, whole webinar recording available to you, so that you can take a look at it as well. And for those of you, you're not going to know, but we'll also make it available on YouTube in, I think, a couple of weeks following the presentation. So you can see it as well there. There may be some other questions with low customer cost per. So what is the channel that is most effective for customer acquisition with low customer cost per acquisition? That is going to depend to some extent on the market and the channels involved. The reason I say this is because certain, if you're going to go heavily digital, certain keywords can be expensive in certain markets, and in other cases, local point of sale staff can be relatively inexpensive, which is again one of the experiences that one of the reasons why in some markets they were able to double their salary by creative point of sale incentivization. if you need a particular figure for a particular market, a particular channel, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm sure we can schedule a call with the team here and get you more information on that specifically. With customers who have never experienced a security breach, is it a common occurrence that they brush off taking a security service, that they might not feel the need? Do I have any tips related to this? Yes. What I'll call the safe consumer, the person who says, "Oh, I never visit anything," excuse me, I'm always safe. That those do exist in the world. It's really an educational thing. The objective is educating the market, helping people to understand that yes, you may be safe, but you're also human, and it may be the case that you, for example, receive a link from what looks like a trusted source, right? You're careful about what sources you respond to, especially in SMS or something like that. Maybe a messenger program like WhatsApp. It's possible to spoof those as trusted sources, and in that case, you can really, even though you're safe, you can really have a problem. Again, education is a great way to combat that. Show and as well to show that certain things can happen even behind the scenes that you're not aware of. Now, in some cases, you may be going into more detail about those particular type of threats, but it just depends on what the particular reason is. The person thinks that they are 100% safe and need the education. What age bracket demographics is most relevant to offer security solutions in the customer channel? Realistically, we're talking about the vast majority of mobile users, and ideally there's a message for each age bracket, or really, in worst case, those who are potentially under 60 and over 60, because those needs are a little bit different. Somebody who's younger might be again, as I discussed in the previous question, they might consider themselves safe users. There might be a little bit more education on that side. An older user might be looking for a very, very, very simple set of risks that they are taking and unaware of. So it's really going to depend a little bit on that, but definitely, really everybody can benefit from that message. It just depends on what the actual message is, depending on age. But there are a couple more that are in the okay. I'm trying to keep up with the questions and get back and forth, but it looks like all the questions are exhausted. Thank you all for attending. It's been my pleasure, hopefully as much as it's been yours. Again, don't hesitate to reach out to me by email. Look for us again in Q3. We'll cover another topic with our webinar series. And have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week. Thank you very much.